news with Gina.
The news with Gina Grad.
Well, fresh off the heels of a presidential race discussion, Kanye West, he's not done. He held his first presidential rally Sunday in North Charleston, South Carolina. It had a bit of controversy. TMZ described it as unorganized and rowdy, adding that he didn't even have a podium or a microphone to address the crowd. He was just right up in everybody's face. And they said Kanye rambled through a number of topics, oftentimes incoherently. One of the most outrageous things he said was about Harriet Tubman. Here's a clip from someone in the crowd with their commentary at the very end.
So that's a Stephen move. When Harriet Tubman never actually freed the slaves. She just had the slaves go work for other white people.
Y'all, we leaving right now.
So a lot of rambling. At another point, he got very personal when he brought up abortion. He broke down in tears and admitted he didn't want North, his first child, with his then girlfriend, Kim Kardashian. Meanwhile, West did not submit any of the 10,000 signatures he needed by noon Monday to get on the ballot in South Carolina for the presidential election.
Hey, I don't want to sound like Dr. Drew, but remember when Anna Nicole Smith was sort of falling apart before our very eyes?
I'm glad you brought this up. Please bring this up with Dr. Drew. Who is letting him do this?
And
well, that's what, yeah.
We're like, look at her. She's stumbling all over the stage. She's slurring her words. Look at her. She's a mess. Look at her. She's dead in Vegas. Like,
that's what I mentioned the other day on the show when we were talking about Kanye. I was trying to do it very delicately, so maybe the point wasn't made. But when I said, Amanda Bynes and Britney Spears, and we kind of, is there a touch of a mental issue that we have to deal with? And I mean, this looks like an episode. So isn't this when the family comes into play and does something?
I guess. I don't know. Like when Kanye says, here's what I'm going to do, I don't know. Good luck stopping him from doing it, I guess. I don't know. If he says, I'm going to one of the Carolinas, I'm having a rally, does Kim get to grab the keys from the private jet and go, no, and like drop them down her bra or something? By the way, remember when women used to do that? Used to just drop stuff down their
It was as though it was gone.
Right.
That's my move.
So I don't know, but it seems like he's having an episode. Seems like he needs some medication. Seems like something needs to be adjusted in his life.
And when we talk about celebrities in politics, after, Trump kind of breaks the mold on, reality star, whatever, businessman can do it. Do we just think it's funny now to go scorched earth on this country and say, why not vote him in? Who cares? It's all hilarious. And, it doesn't matter anymore. Will there be that contingency? It says he has 2% of the vote. But are there people that are just looking to watch this world burn? Hilarious.
I don't know. We could have another Richard Kim incident from my high school, from North Hollywood High. Which I'll explain in a second. Max Pata, when you showed me my yearbook from the 11th grade and they showed like the student council, you could see Richard Kim in that mix, and he was making, you could tell it was him because he was flexing. I think he was like making a muscle or something. But we had an auditorium. When you'd have events. Like the best, there were 3 good days for me at school. There was walk into your classroom and see the projection there, the projector there. Like, we're showing a film. Oh, awesome! I don't have to do anything for this. And if it was a big fat reel, it was good. Like, that's going to eat up the whole goddamn class. All right, good. I'm going to just sit. So there was movie day was a good thing. Walk into the class, substitute teacher, good day. And then the best day of all was the election, government, whatever it was, the auditorium
speeches.
Day. Yeah,
the assembly.
The assembly day. Like, we're going to get up and go to the auditorium. And Richard Kim, we went to the basketball auditorium at North Hollywood High. And Richard Kim was this crazy Asian guy, funny sense of humor. Do you have that picture of him? There's the school
Look at
assembly, And it's a lot of Jewish kids. And then one guy's got his arm up, and he's making a muscle, and it's on the left side. And it's Richard Kim. He was the kind of guy who wore, like, you know, a shirt and a tie with a short sleeve and stuff like that. This is a little bit off. And there's Richard Kim. And
happy to be alive.
And when it came time for him to give his speech for why he wanted to be the vice president or the treasurer or whatever, just the entire, in a big goof, the entire auditorium just exploded into chants of Richard. Richard, Richard, we love you, Richard, Richard. And he'd like calm everyone down, and like the principal would come out and like calm everyone down. Now, no one liked Richard Kim. We didn't even know who he was. We just ironically went nuts for Richard Kim. So Richard, then he came up again. He's like, I need your vote. And we'd go, Richard. And then this entire auditorium was screaming like it was, you know, the finals of a basketball playoffs or something. And I don't know what Richard ever thought of it, because no one thought of him. We just decided it'd be a funny goof if we voted Richard Kim in to do something, because we didn't know who he was or what he was doing or if he would do a good job. But we thought it was funny. So maybe
it didn't matter.
It didn't matter. Maybe we're in a Richard Kim moment. Maybe that's
Richard
what's going to
Kim
happen.
effect.
The Richard Kim effect. Yeah. I forgot he was making a muscle and standing in that group. I wonder what he's up to, man. He's got to be doing something.
He's a very common
Well,
name.
I know.
We postponed. We're long overdue for the. I don't remember, Brian, what you called it, but the month long. Adam, this is your life. We got to add Richard.
Oh
Kim.
yeah, the Adam History Month.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like one of those guys that would walk around with a briefcase, you know, instead of a backpack. Like it was just that dude.
You know, our buddy Randy Wang, a.k.a. Ryan Wong from the KLSX days, he in high school was the youngest manager of any like food court thing at Magic Mountain. And he wore like his short sleeve shirt and his button down Bugs Bunny tie. So he told me in high school he would also wear that to school to show that he's a manager, which I don't think probably went over very well.
Pretty sweet.
Oh God. It seems so insane when you go back and you look at those days. And also it's funny that there were things that you needed to do with your hair and things you needed to do with your skin, and nobody ever got involved. Like, I never had a conversation with any family member or any adult of like, look, your hair's fucked up. You got to fix your hair. Or here's what you do with this zit. Don't go at it with a pair of needle nose pliers. You have to go at a zit this way. Like, it's just so weird how everyone just sort of was coasting your hair. You must have had hair issues, Gina.
Oh, are you kidding? And I didn't have a sister.
One.
Everyone with an older sister knew how to curl their bangs. And you could tell who didn't have an older sister because ours were all backwards and cattywampus. But that reminded me, there is something that happened in our middle school that was very common. We actually all look forward to it. That wouldn't be allowed in a middle school today. There would be such a class action hate crime lawsuit against this. And I was thinking about this the other day. There is no way these people are allowed in school anymore. When you were in 7th and 8th grade, in gym class, one day a year, someone would come in from the local modeling recruitment agency, not a modeling agency, but like one of those modeling schools. You know what I mean?
Barbizon.
Right. Yeah. Something like that. They'd come in and they'd tell these awkward, gawky 12-year-old and 13-year-old girls, you know, what it takes to be a model and get all the girls all excited. And then one by one, because this was a special day, you would stand up and be critiqued by the bitch in Shawnee Mission, Kansas, telling you what's wrong with you as you're going through puberty. So one by one, she'd go, straighten your hair, fix your teeth. You probably going to need a nose job. Make sure the hair stays tame. And like, oh, thank you. Oh, God. Can you imagine somebody coming into the school and just taking down little girls like that have already have no self-esteem?
I was talking to Stromer earlier today. We're doing an Ace on the House, and he was what used to be what we called hyperkinetic, I think, back in the day, where it just had, now it's ADD or whatever it is.
He can move things with his mind?
They called it hyperkinetic back in the day. It was like you know, global warming used to be ecology or stuff like that. We just had like different names for stuff. And
no, when I was young, it was you're hyper. I have every report card. Brian's very hyper.
He's hyper. Well, Stromer was very hyper, and I guess he was in, I don't know, maybe he's probably in Michigan or something. And when he was he had a teacher in the 8th grade that had like a refrigerator box that like with the bottom and the top cut off. And when Stromer would sit down at his desk, he'd lower the refrigerator box over him. And he'd just work out of this box.
That's creative thinking.
And he started, doing murals on the inside of the box and stuff like that. But could you imagine having your kid working out of a box now? And
that's a dunce cap.
And it's essentially a dunce cabin. It's not even a cap. You live in this. It's a dunce cabin you live in. It's a dunce flat. And by the way, the thing that's so funny, whenever you talk to these guys, and like, you know, I at the same time he was in his dunce box, I was in the donkey squad with Mr. Walters at Walter Reed Elementary, sitting in a corral with a bunch of other dumb kids in our PE class. And it's so funny, we see it through the lens of 2020, you know, so like you go, Stromer, what'd you tell your parents? Like, what were your parents outraged? Like, his dad was a creative guy who would be outraged by this. And it's like, oh, you didn't tell your parents. Because their first question would be, why do you need a box around you?
What did you do?
Yeah, what'd you do? And I didn't say anything about the donkey squad either. Like, no one said anything. That's just how it worked. Yes, simpler times. Also,
good times.
When I think about these yearbooks, I had like best figure, best physique, best looking. And we had one in junior high and I think in high school too. We had biggest flirt.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, simpler times.
Different time.
They can't have best looking anymore in modern day. Could you have best looking and best figure and physique in modern day yearbooks?
Well, and what did best figure mean for a girl? It only meant one thing.
Titties.
There you go.
That's right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like, who in the 9th grade's got the biggest tits? Then that's who wins.
Big north of the border.
That's who wins the competition every year. Right.
And guess what? It wasn't me.
What?
It wasn't me. I was a lanky.
Who is this unicorn?
I know. I got to show you. I was lanky, flat. Yeah, this is a later thing, man.
All right.
Yeah. Prove it. No, it really wasn't, though. I mean, there were girls that had, you know, like you could tell they had back problems. That was not that didn't hit college.
Is the winner from your high school yearbook good at the news?
That's funny.
All right. What else we got, Gina Grand?
Well, there's a gift from above for you, Adam, because Maxine Waters making the news. She's, of course, a California Democratic rep. She was seen pulling over to keep an eye on police officers who were conducting a routine traffic stop involving a black man in L.A. This is according to the report, and I do have the video. I'll show you in a second. Waters was driving in her home district over the weekend when she parked her car, walked over to the LA County Sheriff Patrol car, and just wanted to sort of see what was going on. Somebody was filming her from across the street, and this is the exchange.
You pulled over! They stopped the brother, so I stopped to see what they were doing. Right?
Oh, okay.
So they say I'm in the wrong place, say they're going to give me a ticket. That's okay, as long as I watch them.
Gotta do what they gotta do, make sure.
All right.
Was that Gary from Weird Science? Give me the keys.
Give me the keys, Lisa.
Big old titties.
You don't even have his license, Lisa.
On the telephone? So she said they stopped a brother, and I pulled over, and I want to make sure everything's on the up and up. And speaking of that, speaking of traffic stops, real quick, with the police brutality protests and the racial injustice and everything across the country, some left-wing activists, this is according to Fox News, have suggested ceasing routine traffic stops by police officers. So who would do them? Well, in Berkeley, California, they're moving forward with a proposal to eliminate police from conducting them and having unarmed civilian city workers. How well you think that would go over? Think people just peel off?
Fucking tree trimmer pulls you up.
Yeah.
Not good. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't think it would work. But the thing about cops, well, they pull you over for two reasons. They either want to make money or they think something's up. Like they think you got something in the car. They're either looking for something or it's just a pure cash grab, And the part where they're doing the cash grab, I, of course, don't like because I don't like them deputized, pardon the pun, just to raise money.
Yeah.
But as I think about it, they pulled over those guys, the North Hollywood bank robber guys. They pulled those guys over probably 5 miles from where I'm sitting right now in like Eagle Rock, I think. They popped the trunk and they found police scanners, guns, banana clips, assault rifles, ski masks, duct tape. They found everything in that car, but they didn't catch them robbing a bank. They just caught them planning on robbing a bank. So they ended up giving them a little bit of time, and then when they got out, they gave them all their shit back. They gave them all the police scanners and the I don't know if they gave them the banana clips back, but they gave them like the ski mask and the duct tape and all their shit back, and then they did the North Hollywood bank robbery. So I don't even know how good. I don't know what a citizen. I don't know what someone without a gun or out of anything would do if they pulled those two guys over and popped the trunk and saw AR-15s and AK-47s.
Well, and that's what one of the police spokesmen said. They said, it sounds boring, it sounds routine, but you have literally no idea what you're walking up to when you stop and pull someone over. So if you think you can do it better than an armed person that's ready to rock, then, go for it.
They didn't get their firearms or their explosives back. I guess they had grenades or something, but they got
standards.
In the car, they found 2 semi-automatic rifles, 2 handguns, more than 1,600 rounds of rifle ammunition, 1,200 rounds of handgun ammunition, scanners, smoke bombs, improvised explosive devices, body armor vests, and 3 different California license plates.
Yeah. See,
did they get all the license plates back?
Yeah, they got them.
Here's what I don't get. Those guys then shot up an entire region of the San Fernando Valley when they did the North Hollywood. The movie Heat was loosely based on that incident. Or
wait! I think Heat predated it.
Oh, well, now you got to look.
He was not. I know for a fact he was 95. I think this went down in 99, 98, 99.
No, this was earlier than.
This was it went down in 96.
Oh, 96?
Yeah, May 96.
I was in college. I remember
2 branches of Bank of America in the San Fernando Valley.
Oh, so Heat came out before this?
Then in fact, I got the idea.
He was based. I can tell you right now.
Go.
1995. It was based on a previous Michael Mann project called L.A. Takedown, which was several years earlier. So, of course, shootouts are shootouts. They happen, and they're in movies and whatever. But no, this was the other way around.
I agree with Bald Brian.
Oh, that's what it was. I always heard it the other way. Either way, they shot up everything, and they gave them all their shit back. And my thing was always like, So you could go into Dawson's house and you could find a pillowcase full of weed, and it would be on his bed. I'm not saying he would. That's what he uses to sleep. But I'm saying you find a pillowcase full of weed, and you could bust him for intent to distribute if he had over 4 ounces or whatever it is. You don't have to catch Dawson selling weed. You just have to catch him with over X amount of weed. Right. And then you go, hey, you didn't catch me selling weed, but I know you were going to sell this weed, so we're just gonna treat you like you were selling the weed. And you could go, I happen to like a lot of weed around my house. I don't want to have to go to the park every 2 days, so I buy in bulk, like Costco. And you go, no, intent to distribute. So my feeling is if the law works that you get intent to fill in the blank with drugs, why can't we have intent to rob a bank?
Makes perfect sense.
In that rule, their rule is like, well, they didn't rob a bank. We can't do anything until they rob a bank. Well, they did rob a bank, and they shot up everybody.
That's the same thing with restraining orders and with missing persons and kidnappings. Well, they haven't murdered anyone yet. Well, would you like to hear the messages on my voicemail? It's just like, well, we'll have to wait and see.
Right. So I got the story backward that one of the shooters had a copy of Heat. And it was
really?
like they were inspired by Heat versus the other way around. All right, let me hit, yes.
The shootout took place on February 1997, and Albert Hughes of the Hughes brothers is developing a movie called North Hollywood. Don't know what stage it's in now because of the lockdown and everything, but a feature film about the shootout.
It's a crazy story. I remember where I was, of course. North Hollywood's where I hail from, and that was the bank that was down Laurel Canyon, and I just remember the shit going down, and I remember just hearing about it, and it was a crazy story. Garagos, of course, represented the mother.
Oh, no.
I love this story.
He represented the mother of one of the guys, of the North Hollywood guys, and they settled. They sued the city of Los Angeles. The North Hollywood bank robbers both died in the event. One committed suicide when he was sort of cornered. The other was shot by the cops and bled out. The one who was shot by the cops and bled out, they sued. His mother sued Los Angeles for a wrongful death. and I think won with Garagos leading the charge. All right, let's do one more, Gina Grad.
All right. Well, we haven't talked about Karens in a couple days, and I have a few, but we'll save the rest for tomorrow. So a while back, I believe we talked about it. There was a woman who had shamed this sort of young Starbucks employee because he asked her to wear a mask. It's part of their policy in the store. And she went crazy and she put it on social media, on her Facebook. And can you believe this guy? His name is Lenin Gutierrez, and he's trying to get me to wear a mask. And who does he think he is? So a lot of people saw this video, and instead of siding with her, they started a GoFundMe page for young Lennon, and they raised over $100,000 in tips for him. Okay, great. Nice story. It's done. Well, the woman who originally put him on blast, Lynn Gillis, she's not happy about this. She says she's now considering suing to collect her half of those funds because she claims
she made him famous.
She has underlying health issues that make her medically exempt from mask mandates, and it's not fair that he gets rewarded and she doesn't. By the way, the two medical notes that she has, one is from a chiropractor and one is from an OBGYN. So I'm not sure what she breathes out of, but that is those were the two notes that she thought made her exempt. And she wants half that money from the kids she shamed that work in minimum wage that said, could you please put your mask on?
I'd talk more about it, but Garagos is representing her, so
sure, yeah.
Kind of told me in confidence, but he feels pretty good about this one. He says he's getting way more than half, and he's taking that kid to the cleaners. So, Jesus Christ. You know what? It's like, first things first, nobody has to go in and get a cup of coffee. You don't have to. There's certain things in life that we realize are sort of a necessity, and then other things are like, again, it's my same argument. Ben Shapiro is going to be on the San Antonio show at the Improv on the July 31st, and here's my point. If Ben Shapiro is speaking on your college campus, you do not have to watch him. You don't have to attend. You don't have to go. You don't have to even show up that day if you don't want to, and you don't have to get a cup of coffee. But if, in fact, you choose to get a cup of coffee, then here are the rules. You have to put this mask on. And then you can go, well, I have I have breathing difficulties or whatever it is, fine, then you do not get to have the cup of coffee at that place. You get to go home and make your own cup of coffee. The rules are you have to wear a mask when you enter this place. And if you can't do it or you won't do it, I'm not a big mask wearer myself, but I don't look at the businesses who, by the way, are just doing it for insurance purposes for sure, telling you to wear a mask. That's part of their business. Just like I don't argue with the people at the airport security when they want me to take my belt off. There's nothing in my belt. I'm not a terrorist. Fine. This is the protocol. Sadly, if you want a cup of coffee or you want to get on a Southwest flight, you got to take your belt off. You got to put your mask on. That's it.
Well, and on the other side of that coin, as you've said many times, if you can't fly without a dog, then maybe flying's not for you. If you can't go in this business without causing a ruckus, maybe going into this business is not for you.
On the other hand, as someone who's never benefited from a fake online doctor's note, maybe I could get a note that says I don't need to wear a mask, and then I would combat all the. I would then cough on all the people who are traveling with their dogs.
Yeah, go see your OBGYN and get a note.
That's right.
That's good.
I'll go.
Also, I don't know if you saw that meme, and whether like we talked about with laughter, whether you think it's correct or you agree or not. It's very funny. The meme. I sent it to Chris, so maybe he has it. But where wearing a mask is just like being with somebody who's peeing. So if a guy is totally naked and he's peeing everywhere, then that pee is going to get on you. But if you're wearing pants, then there'll be a little less pee on your legs. But if he's wearing pants, the pee mostly stays with him. And if you're both wearing pants, that pee stays with him and you're not going to get any splashback. So it was a very funny way of saying, the fabric masks, those don't matter anyway. Well, jeans make a difference when somebody's whizzing all over the place.
You got the meme, Max Spanna?
It's very funny.
I got a boner.
Yeah,
this
I found
talking.
Here it is.
Fired up my outboard motor. Let's see. I've not seen this one.
Are fabric masks sensible? I will try to explain. If we're all running around naked and someone pees on you, you are wet immediately. If you're wearing trousers, some of the pee will still get through to you, but not so much. You are better protected. But now, if the one peeing at you also wears pants, the pee remains only with him and you will not get wet. Now, what do you think?
It's good, but as a guy who's been peed on many times wearing slacks.
Define no quarter here, Gina.
It's much better to get peed on poolside when you're not wearing the pants than in the jeans because it just hangs. It hangs.
That's
but I get what they're getting at. I'm just saying,
it's a metaphor.
Someone who's made it a way of life for many years, who's been peed on many times, it's difficult once it hits the super denim. All right. I will be in Addison, Texas, and that's at the Improv right there in Dallas, Friday, Saturday. Coming up, we'll do a live podcast there, and then we'll also do some stand-up there. And Ben Shapiro and Greg Gutfeld are going to join Friday and Saturday in San Antonio coming up the following weekend. So go to AdamCarolla.com for all that. The Tempe date's made up. It's going to be made up at September 18th and 19th. And you can check out the stand-up on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/AdamCarolla, and get the book. And check out David Paul Kuhn's book, The Hard Hat Riot, as well on Amazon, as long as you're there. And until next time, this is Adam for David and Gina and Bald saying mahalo.